Hey guys, it's Steph, the Midwest Cowgirl, and today we're lunging a horse. Hey guys, so I wanted to create this video today because I think there's some misconception when it comes to lunging. There's different types of lunging, but the way I do it, I like to have my horses feel back with me, and there's a connection between me and the horse. It's not just a mindless thing for my horse to go around in a circle, and they're actually engaging with you. So today, Honey is gonna be my model. We've been together for 20 years. She's been with me since she's 2. So in my experience, I've seen a lot of people just have their horses going around in a circle, this big old circle around the arena, and their horse tends to check out and not actually feel back for you. And when I work with my horses in lunging, I usually call it lunging or circling, and it's more of like a thing where I want the horse to feel back with me. It's a connection. So they need to be ready for me to ask them to do something. I may ask them to change direction. I may ask them to transition down from a canter to a trot to a walk, even a stop, quick rollback. So they have to be ready. And it builds the relationship between you and your horse. When lunging a horse, it's not just a physical workout. It's also a mental workout for them. So I want that connection with my horse, and I want to be able to see how they're moving and stopping and getting them to engage with me on the ground. And if you treat it like a mindless task, it will be a mindless task for your horse, and it'll become boring over time for them, and they won't enjoy it. When you do it this way, I tend to see the relationship with the horse and rider tend to be a little bit stronger because you build that relationship with them. So when I first start with my horses and asking them to go out on the circle, I will usually be in front of them or to the side of them, and I'll ask them to back up and put the weight on their hind end so that I can set them up on their hind and ask them to go out on the circle. And when they do that, they're not going to actually walk towards me and shoulder check me. So when Honey, in her younger years, if I did not back her up, and maybe I'll do it now so you can see, for example, if I ask her to go out on the circle and I don't ask her to, well, she did anyways, because you're a good girl. If I don't ask her to back up, sometimes she'll come towards me and kind of walk right next to me. I want to have the space between me and my horse. I want them to be able to sit back on their hind end and cross their front legs to go off into the circle. I don't want them to come get heavy on their front end and walk into me. I want them to work at it. They're gonna move away from my body language. So like my body language and energy is telling her to back up when I want her to do that. So if I want her to go the other way, and it doesn't take much pressure. So I always start with less pressure and then get louder, is the way I say it, in the rope. So if I have a horse that's not responding to this, I may get louder in the rope and bigger, and my body may get bigger, and I may get louder and tell them to move away. So here, and see how her ears are forward. Now there she came forward. That's not something that I would ask her to do. I want her to sit backwards and use her hind. And there I stepped towards her. My body said, move away. Use your big booty. And when I want my horse to stop when I'm circling them, I'm gonna grab the rope with my opposite hand, and I'm gonna kind of look at their butt a little bit and quit all the energy in my body. Everything in my body tells her, oh, slow down. And most times I like to have them away and back up because I don't like them to stop on top of me, because if there were something outside this door or someone walks by and she spooks, she'd jump right on top of me. So safety is a priority. So it's very important to teach your horse body awareness and aware of where they are in comparison to you. So something also really important that I should say is that when I am circling my horses, oh, you got an itch, is that when they're out on the circle, I stay square with their shoulder, like girth area. So like their barrel shoulder area. So if I want to stay with her, I'm gonna stay right here. I'm not gonna get too far behind because that tells her to stop. And I'm not gonna tell her, I'm not gonna get too far in front of her because she may take that opportunity to go the other direction. So when I want her to go, I'm gonna stay right at her shoulder area so she knows here. And so this is a shorter rope, so I'm gonna walk with her. And she has a tendency to hold her head to the outside of the circle. I try to discourage that. That's a bad habit that has been created from being a lesson horse. So when she does that, I kind of drive her hip out and ask her to take her inside hind leg and reach under, and it gets her to kind of bring her head back around, because if I don't do that, she balances with her body incorrectly. She drops her shoulder to the inside of the circle. So I want her to have a nice little arc, and that's her feeling back from me. If she's looking to the outside circle, she's checking out. She's worried about whatever else is going on around her, not me. Next, I'm gonna ask her to pick up the pace a little bit. So when I do that, I'm gonna make sure she's feeling back to me, paying attention. So with my horses, all I want it to be is my energy and my body language to tell them go. So I'm gonna ask her to trot next. So my energy is gonna come up in my body, and all I need to do is show her. And as soon as she goes into the trot, now here you can see her holding her head. She goes into the trot, I bring my arms back down, but I keep the energy in my body up. So there's like excitement in there. Now if she needs a little encouragement, I may use my rope a little bit. I try to swing at her barrel and her shoulder to keep her going. I'm having to bump her head a little bit to tell her, hey, quit with the shoulder drop in here. And she likes to stay on the smaller circle. With other horses, I like to have them on a bigger circle, but she likes to be on a smaller circle. The bigger circle you have, the less connection and feel you have with your horse. So next I'll ask her to go into the canter. This takes more energy. She's a little lazy. So as you can see, all the energy in my body came down, and she followed that energy and came down with me. I didn't have to really say much. When they're cantering or I'm asking them to go faster, I will have a rhythmic energy in my body and also like kissing or clicking to keep them going, because horses move off of rhythm. It's not like a, kiss, 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 kiss. It's 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2 in the trot, and canters a 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So I may have to have a faster kiss, and to get them to go into the canter, I tend to have different sounds that I use. So for the canter, I'll do one long kiss to go in, and that's kind of like their signal, like, okay, I'm gonna go. Next, I'll go over the horses stopping and switching directions. And so as your horse gets better at it, you can actually get it into, like, they call it a rollback, where they actually sit completely on their hind end and take the front end and go around the whole other way. So, and you can tell Honey's feeling back to me, because every time I move my hand to do something, she stops, like, what are you gonna ask? So when I ask her to stop, I'm gonna look at her butt, my body's saying quit. I'm gonna ask her to put her weight on her hind end so that she doesn't run me over. And I'm gonna get her to look where she's going, and my hands are gonna show her. So I switched with my hands the direction of where I'm going. So I'll have her do it again. Grab it with my opposite hand, kind of look at her body. I'm gonna ask her to back up. Now she's already looking. She knows, like, okay, you're gonna ask me to go the other way. Because my body is telling her where to go, and you can see her licking and chewing like, okay, I got it, makes sense. And I don't get to work with my own horses much, so she's like, oh, this feels nice. So, stop, back her up. Now my body's gonna change, I'm gonna ask her to go the other way. So there she got a little lazy, she kind of came forward and almost shoulder checked me, is what she likes to do. Stop, get her to look, There we go. So if she were going at a faster pace, I could probably set her up and push her into a rollback. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching the video. I hope you were able to take away something that is valuable to you and why I think it's so important to be able to lunge your horse or circle your horse and it not just be a mindless thing for them or it's just a workout for them. They're actually building a connection and relationship with your horse and getting them to feel back for you. And it can actually translate into the saddle too, which we could go into more later. Honey was a great model, as she always is. She's my girl. So thanks so much for watching, you guys. If you have any questions or how to do something, please feel free to comment. We'll see you in the next video.